All right, we just got our software sent to us by our developer yesterday. And although that's very good news and very big news, there is uh, a lot of work to do still before we can actually bring it out to users and have them effectively use it. So after looking it over and seeing just how many things that will need to be tested and just made sure that they're working properly or that I already can tell that aren't working properly and we need to fix. At first I was like, oh shit, like how do we even how do we even do this? And then I was thinking about it and I was like, okay, let's just follow the user stories. The user stories are basically just pathways that any given person that uses the platform or user will actually take, and it'll be like a set of actions. So for example, creating an account is a user story as a user. So as a user, I can visit the page, whatever, and follow a step-by-step modal to register as a user. And in there you have like acceptances, like to make sure this works. It's like kind of like checkpoints. Like for example, it saves on the first page so that it's auto adds them as a user, even if they bounce or if they don't complete the rest of the modal or the sign-in process or registration process, whatever it is. Now, that led me to realizing that the user stories we provided our developer were not as good and as specific as they should have been and could have been. So this is an important lesson for us in the future and right now. And also if you're watching and you ever step into development for your own products, or you want to create, like you want to develop something, the importance of user stories, I don't think I can emphasize it enough. I spent 2 hours yesterday on one user story that was initially just one user story where it was basically like the authentication or the onboarding for the general user, and it was split into I think 9 different ones, and each one has its own acceptances, its own criteria to what needs to be present there, and then also having like UI UX designs and like kind of like templated, because we have the Replit MVP as well as the one that's out right now, the staging link from the developer, and just pulling things that we need it to look like and just like the modernization and just looking clean, basically just the basic design of what our idea of it will look like. So basically I'm making this video to, first of all, update that we actually got the staging link, and holy shit, that took way too long. It's October 2nd, October 4th, October 3rd we got it, and we were supposed to get it September 1st. So actually that's not even that bad, a month late. Was it September 1st? Yeah, a month late, so 4 weeks late. And now just looking at this, it's probably gonna take another month at best, to be honest. But one thing, so basically what we need to do is restructure user stories to make them more specified and more exact to what we're looking for. Then go over all of them and see, okay, what's good, what needs fixing, what's like just missing, and then give it to him in waves so he can complete it while we're still working. So it's not like we're doing everything and then handing him over like a list like this long of things that need to be fixed, improved, or implemented. And that is the plan. So on top of that, Jack's still going to be doing the blog writing, and we'll both probably work on that social media aspect of it together. But this is going to take a lot of time. So that's where my focus is going to be. I did end up doing a little bit of like AI coding, learning about that, and it did help actually for this, because I'd learned some things that will help us building on the front end as well as some things, aspects on the back end potentially. So hopefully he doesn't charge us extra for any new features or improvements we request of him, which he shouldn't for the most part. There's like 1 or 2 things I can think of where maybe he will, just because it may not have been obvious in the initial user stories. Like the complete buyer onboarding, similar to like a seller onboarding, but for the registering. like that we didn't really explain too much about, so that might not have been in his initial scope. But a lot of other things, like how things should work and placements, what like where they are, how they work, all that, like that should all be included in that initial development plan, and price point. Anyways, that's an update. I can't wait for this to be out, to be honest. Jack and I were both like on edge until we got this, or at least when we got it, I was like, holy shit. And I'm like, now urgency of actually getting shit done. But it's out to us, not to the public, and hopefully we can bring it out to Milwaukee as soon as possible. All right, that's all I have for today. I hope that wasn't too like yappy, but anyways, free Palestine.